Welcome to Copernico. In this video, we're going to review the basic principles of timing and revisit the glossary of commonly used terminology. What is timing? Timing is measuring time. Over the years, there have been different ways of recording times. In this video, we will distinguish two: manual timekeeping with a stopwatch, and the taking of times by means of a timing device. In manual timing, a stopwatch is needed, which will be taken at the start of the race and when an athlete arrives to the finish line, or at any other location on the stopwatch. As many times will be created as an athlete passes through the point where someone is timing. Likewise, there will be 2 or 3 more people recording bibs to subsequently make the association of times with bibs and therefore with the participants. On the other hand, when taking times by means of timing devices, the athlete's time will be not recorded, but the times of passing through the different locations will be. Thus, you will have a start time and an end time. By subtracting these two passing times, you will obtain the time it took an athlete to complete a particular distance or course. A timing program will be in charge of making the calculations and also for making the association between participants and times. Therefore, the timing device will be in charge of recording times and chips, and the timing program will be in charge of making the results visible. Now let's see the glossary and the most commonly used terminology. The first word on our list is a race. A race is a set of events that can be timed that happen in a time interval indicated when creating the race. For example, Ibiza Marathon 2023. But it includes several competitions, which are called events. An event is a different competition that makes up the race, and they can be differentiated by sport modality, participants, or any circumstance that prevents an athlete from being in a ranking as another event. For example, runners in a marathon would never appear in the half marathon or in the 12K. Now, if we take a look at an event, we have timing points. This is an important distinction between a timing point and a physical location. A physical location is where a timing device is located, versus the name or timing point is where an athlete is being timed. So this is important because a timing point is always different and an athlete will only have one time at that timing point, but they might pass through a physical location more than once. In this situation, it's not the case, but a very common situation is a race with laps, whereas the start and the finish is the same physical location, even though the timing point is different. Next, we have splits. Splits are a measurement used to take a time between two timing points. The most common one would be from the start to the finish of a race, as you can see at the bottom. But realistically, you can decide to have a time or a classification for any of your timing points. So in this situation, we have from the start to the 20K, but you could also have it from the 10K to the 30K. That all depends on what classifications you want to end up getting. Another common reason for splits is in a triathlon, when you might want to separate the times or the rankings based on sport modality. A wave. A wave is a massive start time. So a lot of races only have one start time, but if you have a lot of participation, you might want to add a couple of waves. That way it's easier for your logistics and you just simply add it or delete it as needed. Make sure that the name and the times are distinct to when people will be starting, and a participant may only have one wave associated with them, even though your race may have multiple waves. Categories are used to get rankings also based on age generally. So here we have all of the different age groups, and later you can see that there are rankings generated for the winners of each age group and gender. Whereas attributes are another way of deciding rankings. Usually they're local or based on profession, and they're specific to your logistics. Many times athletes will do a race with a team or with an organization, and that's where you can put teams here, and it's another way to get rankings. And finally, you have awards, which is based on all the criteria you've already set for getting rankings based on different categories or attributes or teams, or even just the general winners. And you can show that all in Copernico.